Welcome to the Neurodivergent Resource Podcast. Today, I am here with Andrew Arbo and Jan Schluter. Hopefully, I got that right. It's so great to have you both here today. We are going to dive into some really great resource and um, conversations about some work that they're doing in the neurodiverse community. Andrew, it's so nice to
Mhm.
see you again. Thanks so much for being here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and then we'll, move on and go on into our conversation.
Thank you for having me here. And we done talks and different meetings after a while. I'm a I'm a self advocate, autistic person or person with autism, and I have several different job titles. Officially, I work as a teacher assistant and a direct care worker at a autism nonprofit focusing for autism in Connecticut. Outside of all that, I run a freelance brand, Andrew Alble's Autistic Self Advocate Speaker. That's where I do public speaking and contracting services here. And then today's topic actually goes into my contracting role with Jan's with the neurodiverse technologies. And my first time talking about Sandy. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Sandi.
Sandy,
I
it's
recently
fine.
Okay, cool. I will be testing on that later on. I actually ran into a customer that was aware of that, so that was quite a surprise to find that in Massachusetts. But yeah, happy to be here and happy to finally fulfill my contracting side with this. My first ever podcast going over on this topic.
I love that. It was so great to have you here, Andrew, and thank you so much. Jan, I'm so happy to meet you, and I really am looking forward to hearing more about you as well. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me, first of all. And I don't think that I have so many titles as Andrew, but I only have two. One is the entrepreneur in residence for the Frisch Center for Autism and Innovation here at Vanderbilt University. And second, I am the co founder and CEO of Neurodiverse Technologies, which is basically commercializing um, products from Vanderbilt University, not limited to that, but we started today actually is our first anniversary. So happy
Woo,
birthday to us. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
And
congratulations.
sorry,
The
I
anniversary.
had to say it. That's great.
yes, thank you. And so the SANDI driver readiness platform that we created, which has its origin at Vanderbilt University, is the first of many assistive and supportive tech products that we are bringing to life for the autistic community.
Wonderful. Oh, I really think that this is going to be such a great episode. I know that the driving in general is such a big topic and such a big, you know, hot point, I guess, if you could say, for so many autistics, and whether it be the parents, the individuals themselves, definitely something that we can touch on, bring to light, and get more resources and understanding of what the needs are for the community. Andrew, how did you and Jan connect? What kind of brought you guys together?
I could probably answer this. Honestly, it's through LinkedIn. I knew several different people. Like I have a background in outreach. Um, if it if I have to go over my professional history, it will take a lot longer than it should. Just check out my website. Probably website. I also have several different social media pages there. And I knew a couple people. Dave Thomasman, who used to be part of the Nicholas Center in Newark. So I kind of knew him for a while, and like several months ago, like around February, March, more I think pretty sure January, February, like around that time, I was introduced to neurodiverse technologies there, and we were talking and realizing that potential collaboration could be done.
Mm.
During that time, I wasn't doing as much contracting up until that point. I'm always been a collaborative person. Like I always enjoy sharing my experiences and expertise. then just kept connecting and realized that this is really cool. I got to see like the kind of like the contract itself with like responsibilities, expectations, and felt it would be a really good fit. I've always been one that goes into like the driving scene. Like a lot of my accuracy started because of learning to drive.
Hmm.
And I was reminded about this a few weeks ago. I'll be really quick. It was actually last week. One of the researchers that does all the driving research, Allison E. Curry, like she did this post where she, like 10 years ago, like she submitted this like grant proposal on to study like autistic teen drivers, and reviewers said some of the most baffling things out there. Like I'm reading this out as I got the whole screenshot out there because I couldn't believe it. I had to share it. Need for driving is unclear. Highly unlikely to improve the health of those with ASD. Oh, and then the other one was like highly likely that some teens with ASD will become upset with the new experience of learning to drive. Surprisingly baffling. Like, how dare someone learn driving just so they get more health choices, go to a primary care doctor? And this is coming from me, like, of course, not everyone can drive, and that is okay to acknowledge. Like,
Yeah.
I've always like to deep into the nuances of autism, and yeah, some there benefit more buses and Ubers, and that's okay. Okay, maybe not Ubers. That costs way too much for a 10-minute ride. $20. That's ridiculous. I just want to put that out there. But that kind of like that kind of type of thing. If I heard that 10 years ago, not only I would be mad, but I'd be really determined to defeat like the reviewers. And luckily, Allison decided to not look at that and then do their own thing and research. So that kind of got me to the driving scene. And
Okay.
reading that kind of reinforced the reason why I go so hard on my public speaking and contracting. I've also contracted with CHOP, for example. They've done driving research too.
That's
I know
great.
it's a lot. That's like a big mouthful, and I had to kind of get off of that
Great.
soapbox because I'm not highly unlikely to improve the health or even the outcomes. Like pretty darn delusional in my eyes.
And everybody should, have the chance to kind of show what they can be capable of rather than
Yeah,
people.
and being like realistic,
Yeah.
like kind of like testing and just being able to point out the reality around them. Like yeah,
Exactly.
and the team itself.
I couldn't agree more. Jan, tell us a little bit about the process that you're working on, some of the technology and kind of what brought Andrew and you together on this project.
Yeah, as Andrew, let's say, said rightfully that we were introduced by Dave Thompson, who's also now a part of the Frisch Center for Autism and Innovation. He connected us, and since then, Andrew is a great resource and a great advocate for our driver readiness program. And I like the touch of SANDI. It has something Asian to it, Andrew, but actually it's called SANDI, but SANDI does also sound also good. And yeah, since then he's doing a really great job as an ambassador, being a representative of the mission and of the program that we have and the overall goal that we are, let's say, trying to achieve, which is, and I admit that driving does not make you healthier. Maybe it keeps you healthier by not making a crash into a car or into
Yeah.
something else. But so
Yeah.
okay, that comment to that. But the overall mission, what we have as the Frisch Center for Autism and Innovation and Neurodiverse Technologies have is independence. That is the overall. So our goal is to, with the tech that we, let's say, provide and that we research and that we are developing, the overall mission is independence, because it is not a lack of, let's say, the lack of independence for people with autism. It's not also a lack of ability. Far away from that, or the contrary, it's the lack of scalable solutions and the lack of access. And
Yeah.
we are trying with the Frisch Center and with Neurodiverse Technologies and with the support from Andrew to get us scalable solutions to level the playing field, to get them independence, get them into the workforce, because statistics show that as of now, we are, I would say, facing a systemic failure, basically, one that affects millions of people with autism and, of course, their support system, their families and friends as well. So this is the main goal that we have.
I love that. And thank you on behalf of someone in the community and that important work. And not only that is, I have two 16-year-olds. Guess what I'm about to journey into? Driving. So I'm probably going to be one of your biggest advocates in reaching out and saying, okay, now, how do I get this resource or what do I need for this access? Because like very well, Andrew, every individual has different needs and accommodations that they may have. What are some general tips that you might give to parents or to new drivers, whether they're 16 or 75? How can you help them to kind of gain that confidence, or what do you tell them to start?
Good one. And that pretty much, if you've probably seen some of my driving the content, I kind of go over as similar bullet points. But I always like to tell people that there's generally no magic age. Like I started driving when I was 25. I'm 32. In a few months, I'll be 33. Most people don't believe me, but I'll take it as it is. At one of my networking events, I actually had someone ask if my mom's here, and I'm like, I'm 32. It was out there, and my students had a good laugh after I told them the story. But there's no magic age. I always like to tell people, because myself included, I'm guilty of putting restraints, or like putting this deadline where I really don't need to put a deadline to myself. Because most people try to get this done at a certain age or for a specific reason. It's all about like trying to get yourself settled and like trying to decrease anxiety. It's like giving yourself less reason to be anxious is cool. And then I always like to talk to people about starting driving routines. It's like, get used to your car, get used to how it feels, because you're going to be in there like most of the time. And this is the same person. I've done 5-hour trips. I did a 5-hour trip to Philly and 5 hours back last month. So you're going to be in your car for quite a while, depending on your drives.
That's
And also, I've always liked to value like the routines, and also be able to use places to get experience, like using the places that you like pizza places, coffee shops. Good news, good thing, there's coffee shops everywhere. If you're into that, like that would be your jam. So just kind of finding things that the drivers like, and that could be like a kind of like a good motivator for them to get to the places there. And also going by their reason. And I talked about this to death in my other driving talks prior to this.
An interest-based kind of pushes is exactly what we need in the community, or things that, driving to, I love that you said that, to places that are your interest, practicing those routines. Those are such important parts of helping someone learn to even have the desire to want to drive, right? And in our home, it's quite I am the driver, and my husband doesn't like to drive. He is also autistic, does not like to drive. So, but our teenagers, of course, they're excited. They want to do it. So it's a different story across the board. Jan,
I might add to
I want
that.
you to say something here about
Yeah,
it. What are
so
your ideas?
my daughter's 18, and she is autistic as well. Also very late diagnosed with 17.
Oh,
And also with the support of Sandy, she has her driver's license, I'd say, for about 7 months now.
wow.
And
Cool.
I'd say that now the driving experience starts. So she has, as Andrew said, she has some let's say destinations where she want to go. She practiced that with us, so already this is for us a relief of shuttling her all the time. And now she takes the car keys as natural, but only drives to certain spots where she feels comfortable with. And I just learned that she right now expands her scope by driving a slightly different route back or so she is. But right now is the very crucial part. What I'm saying is to learn how to drive. So she has, let's say, for the fact, a driver's license. Does this make her a good driver? No. But right now she has the confidence going from where she is and exploring more and more to increase her radius, which is amazing. So that adds to what Andrew said, to practice a lot. And yeah.
I love that. I think in life that everything comes better with practice, especially driving. And it's there's so many rules. How about taking that driver's test? What should people do to get prepared for that, Andrew?
Oh, do you mind rephrasing? Do you mind repeating the question? But
Like if they're what do you tell them like if they're going to go take their driving test? What do you tell people? Like do you tell them that they should study extra hard for that written test and not stay up too late the night before?
hmm, yeah, like the will test or like the written test or both.
Yeah, just anything when they're going to go get their driver's license. Like what should they do the night before so that they're ready?
Not Could be big. I'm just gonna get myself a refresher. There's actually some really cool praxis test websites. There's one that was like drivingtest.org that does all 50 states. Like that's actually a good
Wow.
refresher. And this is for a written test because it's a lot different when you go with the will test because that's completely different.
Wow.
It's a good way to quiz yourself ahead of time. Always been the type to do flashcards. So if you're able to do flashcards, take them with you up until they called you up at the DMV or whatever it's called in states. That's something that you, yeah, it's something I like to do. That's like I always like to do. And then for the will test, do I answer the will test or just a written test?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that those are great overlays to both of those to what you need to do to be ready. Jan, tell us about Sandy, how it helps to get drivers ready.
It's a simulation. It's a pretty simple, let's say, setting. It's basically two screens, one for the instructor, one for the driver. It's basically like a symbiosis, if you so will. It's very connected based on data and and that is something that I think no other simulator has these days, is eye gaze tracking. So the instructor can be next to the driver, also can sit next to the room, but has fully control and fully overview about what the driver is doing, including the eye gaze, meaning so that the instructor sees exactly, okay, did the learner just look at the stop sign, the speed limit sign, at the traffic light, and certain important objects while driving or not?
Mm.
This you can't even tell in the real in-car practice scenario. So this is something because um, people with autism tend to stare at certain points or just being locked in something specific, like you're not allowed to drive faster than 35 miles per hour, for example, and you just stare at this speedometer and forget everything else. So
Yeah.
that helps the instructor. It's just one example of many,
Yeah.
but this, for example, helps the instructor to say, hey, please, you do not need to look at the speedometer all the time. Just please also have a look on the car in front of you or the pedestrian that is right now crossing, and all of that. So what we created with Sandy is a tool to come as close as possible, like the simulation gives it away in its name, but we have perks to spawn, let's see, emergency vehicles. We can
Mm,
spawn pedestrians. We can
it's great.
just like in James Bond movie, can, let's say, make all the traffic lights turn red. We can switch to rain, to cloudy, to
Oh,
back
wow.
to nice weather again in a heartbeat. And on top of that, we have an AI algorithm which makes it almost chaotic. So every session is different. The traffic is different. You can even increase with the bar. You can
Mm.
increase the traffic density. So you can make it really painful to drive if you really want that, which is important because
Yeah,
we want to prepare the people before they step into a real world car.
I
So
really
we make it as unpleasant and unrecognizable and surprising as possible, so that they get the hang of it, that they understand the mechanics, they can trigger muscle memory
yeah.
to to be prepared to get the first driving lesson in a car. So
I
that
love
is the mission, and that is very autism centric designed to do that. And the good thing is it works for everybody else, but traditional ways I just talked about this earlier didn't work at all for the autistic community. But now it works for them and for everybody else. And you know what? Fun fact, not statistically proven yet, but in the 1 year where I was talking with real customers, real driving schools, real people with a contact with autistic people, but also with the neuromajority or the neurotypical people. And they said to me that there is a spike in the same, I'd say, um, an increase in being anxious and anxiety also in the neurotypical population. And that is something, and that's why we are here at Vanderbilt. That's something that we can now find the answer to that question. Why
Yeah.
is this the case? So I heard this almost with every demo that I do with driving schools. They say we have a spike in anxious drivers since a couple of years, and we need to find out why.
I love that. And a question that just popped in my mind when you were talking about the eye tracking and things. Do you also record the session so that the student themselves can go back and rewatch what they may have done and maybe learn visually what they could do differently?
That's where we have the instructor can be there at any time and interrupt, and then can go through that,
Mm.
just the scenario. But to review this on video is something that we have on our roadmap for later
Oh,
versions.
great, great.
Yes.
Well, good. I'm a future thinker. So I love that. That's wonderful thinking. Andrew, what did you have you tested out the simulation yourself?
That is one of the things I kind of wish, but unfortunately, I did ask. Unfortunately, my laptop is not equipped for it.
Oh, dang.
But it doesn't mean never say never.
Right?
Whenever a place sets it up there, you bet I will go over there and test it out myself.
Love that.
Like the webinar I'm doing later this month on the 28th. I have to kind of design that webinar very carefully, trying to make it not sales pitchy, but be like kind of like I wish I had the choice of selecting this.
Mm,
Like this was like I wish I had this back in 2017. Like I kind of wish I had the choice to
yeah.
because a lot of accuracy, but I always like to be able to educate and then leave it up to people on what to do with that. It's actually they call it. I'm recently doing an employment course in one of the universities. I've been posting on my page, and one of them, the term is called informed choice,
Yeah.
of being able to weigh those auctions out, and then people being able to make an educated choice on them. Like
Yeah.
I wish I had that opportunity of doing so in the past. So I'm kind of hoping with this. And I actually don't know the percentage. It would be very interesting to know the percentage of how many of the people I've contacted about this program. Like I
Mhm.
will admit that would be kind of interesting. But it's
That's
one of those I'll just have to see what happens there. But the moment I hear that the simulator exists between Connecticut, Mass, like these surrounding states in my area, I would love to try that. Or
great.
I could suggest this scene as my supervisor, the closest title to a supervisor is here. If there's ever like hopefully a decently nearby conference or something to set up in person, that would actually not be a terrible idea to have that on display. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you think about it, but we
I
email afterwards. We email later this month.
don't
I
get
know,
too
yeah.
many secrets away. No, I'm just joking. That's wonderful. Well, this is a wonderful resource for families, for individuals themselves. where can we go to find out more information about the program and support that as well?
We do have a website called sandy.website. You find this, of course, you can contact me. I'm the contact person number one. Andrew is contact person number two. He does a great job in helping me to get in his area organizations and driving schools and special eds, um, let's say, informed about what we do. Yeah,
Is that right?
sandy.website.
Okay,
Yes, that
okay.
is
I was
correct.
like, I heard that right, right? Okay, good.
And
Wonderful.
yeah, so and we have already let's say a lot of outlets there in California and in Tennessee, obviously where
Nice.
we are, and in Washington State, in Pennsylvania, in Illinois, Texas, Florida. So we are really going.
Expanding. Yeah, it sounds like it. This what a wonderful program, and thank you for all of the work you guys are doing there for spearheading this up. And Andrew, I'm so excited that you are a part of it, and really, the driving has been. I mean, since I've known you for 5 or 6 years now, has been your main thing. So I'm really excited that you're collaborating with someone so experienced in the field already. So really good luck to you both in
Thank
the
you.
future of the project.
I might want to make some advertisement for Andrew's webinar, which
Yeah.
is May
Yep, go ahead.
28th.
Okay.
May 28th. You can register if you go on Andrew's let's say page. He will promote this, but here as well with this podcast, May 28th. I think it's 6:30 Eastern time. It's his webinar where we are together and promoting and talking about his story as well.
Oh, I love that. And Andrew, what is your website?
All right. Probably mine's slightly longer when the program's website, but mine is Andrew Auble, pretty much my first and last name .brewery.com. That way you could kind of find me. You could look at all the crazy things I've done, like all my workshops, contracting examples, including what I do with neurodiverse technologies. And also go through have an autism and driving
Is
page.
that what you said? AndrewArbodriving.com. Did I do that right?
No,
Oh.
andrewauble.webry. Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
Webry. Yeah.
I misunderstood that. Okay, okay. We'll put that in the show notes for sure. Well, everything
Yeah.
there.
Yep, we'll do. And also
Mhm.
on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's been exploding lately because of the month of April. And yeah, in
Yeah.
those pages, I cover not just autism stuff, but I also cover not autism stuff to prove people I'm not a workaholic. I'm going traveling, posting about cool video games I really like, going to stores, arcades,
That's great.
networking every now and then. Just kind of like I'm trying to kind of like to keep variety going, and I'm actually hoping to post like there's some book recommendations, autism book recommendations on my page. So I'm trying to be more creative with the platform I have.
Love that. Well, we appreciate the work and the advocacy and like you said, the platform, using your platform for the good of the autistic community. We really appreciate you and honor your time you've been spending doing all of these things. So it was so
Hmm.
great to have you both on the show today. And Jan, it was so great to meet you. And I look forward to staying in touch and getting to know more about your programs. And Andrew, I know we'll be staying in touch and following one another's journeys along the way. So, thank you two so much. And we look forward to catching up with you guys in the future.
Yep,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for having me.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.